Which one of you youngsters wants to help me drain the blood from this animal? You do a good job.
The athletes are advancing to the GHDs for their first set of 22 GHD sit-ups. I want to say a huge thanks to our friends at FitAid, the official recovery beverage of the CrossFit Games. For a special offer and to learn more, visit drinkfitaid.com. 22 GHD sit-ups. Lane number 7. We have Caitlin Sanders moving to the D-ball. It's 100 pounds. Now just has to get to the shoulder. Let's go down to the third member of our broadcast team, Derek Forrest.
Thanks, guys. Sophie Burrock in lane 10. You see her. She's got the lead in this heat right now. I don't know if you guys remember yesterday, but in Ernit, she got capped and couldn't come off the ring muscle-ups. And she had a medical team looking after her, so there was some concern about whether or not she'd be able to compete for the rest of the weekend. But obviously, it looks like she's doing pretty well. Currently in first place in this heat, guys.
Thank you, Derek. Hand in the air for Sophie's judge over in lane number 1. Designated 5 reps or less to go. But advancing in lane 10 at the top part of your screen. Sophie is done as she moves back towards the ring, followed closely by lanes 6 and 7. April Payne and Caitlin Sanders.
Remember, Chase, they're going to resort the heat sheets after this event with 2 events and a ton of points on the board. For someone like April Payne, that's only 10 points away from maybe moving up to that next heat. Nice opportunity to shift the order a little bit going into the final event.
Moving from round 1 to round 2, back to the 33 wall-ball shots. Again, these laners are using a 20-pound ball. 3 total rounds for event number 5. 33 wall ball shots, 22 GHD sit-ups, 11 D-ball cleans to the shoulder.
I think this heavy wall ball, what it really causes some of these women to do is fire the hips open a little bit more aggressively than they would, just to kind of almost jump that ball up to the target versus keeping their feet planted, which you typically see with the lighter wall ball. Kind of the same mechanism of action as they're trying to extend their hips kind of violently to get that D-ball up to the shoulder as well. So I mentioned the first one, there's a lot of sneaky interference here.
All athletes on their second round of wall ball shots. The far right lane, it was Sophie Burrock who was first to the ring. She's taking a long break. You see in lane number 7 coming off, Caitlin Sanders. Caitlin Sanders walking back to her GHD for 22 more GHD sit-ups. Now it's a fun event where the GHD sit-ups is the break version of the air quotes of the event.
Well, given the tests that these athletes have seen so far, they're probably relieved that it's only 66 in this event.
They had to do 1/3 of the total volume of GHDs just to get here coming out of the quarterfinals. Lane 5 and 6, Samantha Petrich and April Payne have moved up ahead of Sophie Burrock. She's just getting to the GHDs to the top part of your screen in lane number 10. Into the air for Caitlin Sanders, the pink and blue in lane number 7. Still maintaining a slight lead. Sanders is done and she'll advance to the D-ball. 11 reps, round to shoulder. Sophie Burrock was your leader after the first round. She's dropped back down to 4th. In the middle portion of the second round, 3 rounds for time. Here in event number 5. She's going to be a back-to-back one, so they're basically got plenty left to go.
She may have come out a little too hot. breaking up the wall balls as well. Starting to fall further back in this heat. So interesting chase. You see Caitlin Sanders at the top of the screen with the pink pants. She's actually letting the ball go over the shoulder. The standard only says that it has to get to the shoulder, so you don't have to flip it over. It's something we're used to seeing in the affiliate as well. Seeing other athletes just choosing to get it up to the shoulder, stabilize, and drop it right down in front of them. Could be more of a rhythm thing for some of these athletes that are used to throwing it over their shoulders. They have a cadence that they work with in terms of taking a breath while they turn around.
Samantha Scorzelli, lane number 1. And lane number 7. Caitlin Sanders moving back to the ring for a third and final round for event number 5. And it looks like lane number 3 is actually finishing up her second round, so Sanders is alone into this third and final round. Sanders on the right side of the screen in the pink and blue. Lane number 3, that's actually Jessica Kalagian. He's having some trouble with his 20-pound wall ball. If you've never used this before, which I don't know why you haven't used this before, that's a big percentage jump from a 14-pound ball to a 20.
Yeah, 14 pounds is what you typically see in the open and some of the lower qualifying rounds. Moving up to, I mean, that's about a 50% increase. We're looking at, and you get something similar with the men will jump up from 20 to 30. So percentage-wise, we see a similar increase for both genders. And it doesn't seem like a lot because the total poundage is relative to the other compared to the barbell implements, the other implements we see on the field, even with the D-ball you see later on in this exact event. That's when the percentage points start to matter because when you're used to training with a 14-pound ball day in and day out, most of these athletes have tested the 20 pounds and started to work that into their training because that is starting to become as more so the standard at this level, and it will be going forward.
More on this. Let's go down to the floor with Derek Forrest.
I wanted to chime in on this conversation, guys. If you watch all the ladies doing wall balls here, the extra height, the extra weight, they're all having to jump, every single one of them. That's got to be a little bit more taxing. What do you guys think?
Well, Derek, the stature of 6'2", me and my friends to my left, is not something you actually need to be accustomed to for the one movement that may benefit the tall boys in this event.
I'm 6'2", I'm 6'3". In any other situation now, I wouldn't fight for that.
There's not a lot of wall balls. There's not a lot of times where I see an athlete where I'm like, good, about time. Hand in the air already for Caitlin Sanders. She's nearly done with the last set of GHD sit-ups. She has moved well ahead of this field. Well, she has 11 deep ball to the shoulder left. And she's advancing to her med ball ankle pain, lane number 6. Advancing to the GHD just behind her, as well as Samantha Petrus in lane number 5. Sanders the fourth part of the screen, working through her final D-ball claims. To the left by the GHDs, you do see Samantha Petrus in ankle pain. Time cap for event number 5 is 13 minutes. We're 2 minutes away from that mark. Once we hit that time, we will take a 2-minute reset. We'll move from event number 5 to event number 6. Both events are worth 100 points. So there's 300 points up for grabs today for these individuals.
A ton of opportunity to still improve your standing on the leaderboard. And for some of these women in the first heat, a great opportunity to move up into the second heat when they reshuffle the order going into the finale.
Sanders is done. She runs across the field. Time will stop when she gets to her finishing map. Right around 11:33. Samantha Petrich got a no rep on that final rep before she came off the GHD, so she had to go back and finish that last one. 1 minute away from that 13-minute count. Right side of your screen, Patrick and Payne. Payne is done. So April Payne at CrossFit Rally Point Northbrook will finish just about 30 seconds underneath that 13-minute cap. Now the bonus there for Sanders and Payne is they're going to get more rest than the rest of the field in that 2-minute break.
Yeah, pays to be aware sometimes. You finish early, get a little extra rest, tacked on another 2 minutes.
Especially Pro Rock. Hot early out of the first round and just maybe a little too much too soon. As event 5 is done for heat number 1. A 2-minute reset before we advance to event number 6.
And early on, like you said, Chase, it was Sophie Prorock who jumped out to an early lead with a few athletes to take control of this heat early on. But once we got into that second round, it's not how you start, it's how consistent you can be through the second and third rounds, and that was where Caitlin Sanders took control. She was the top athlete out of the second round, the top athlete coming off the GHD in the third round. She was the only athlete to finish under the 12-minute mark. She was in clear control of this heat. And Caitlin Sanders gives herself a nice heat win in the first part of this back-to-back event. A little bit of extra rest leading into the 2-minute transition period as well. So nice performance from Caitlin Sanders to start this two-parter.
Now as we move from event 5 to event number 6, what's not really getting a break is going to be that midline that we're talking about that's getting taxed in event number 5.
Absolutely. Just did 66 GHDs, and now we have 2 big chunks of 22 toes to bar, followed by 11 D-ball box step overs. This is where you start to think the totality of what has been placed in front of you as far as the midline work. You're looking at 110 total reps for that midline, and then you have to stabilize that heavy D-ball while you step over that box. Just brutal.
Heat 1, event number 6 underway. We'll start with 22 toes to bar. Move, as you said, to the 11 dumbbell D-ball step overs. Just 2 rounds here for this part. And in that 22 rep scheme, that's right there flirting on the line of unbroken or not unbroken. Normally if this was just by itself, it's unbroken without question, but after what we've already done, start to question ourselves maybe a little bit about event number 6.
And just a little mental twist of having an unfamiliar rep scheme. You know, 20 toes to bar, you see, usually we do 21, and then 21, 15, 9, or we'll do 20, and 22 is just outside of what you normally plan for, and for the most part, these athletes are capable of making that adjustment. But when you talk about everything that they've had to do so far, maybe it just forces them to be a little bit more cognizant of the rep scheme that they're choosing and how they decide to break it up.
Caitlin Sanders on the right, winning heat number 1 for event number 5.
And this was one of the things I was curious to see, how these athletes decided to actually hold the D-ball as they carried it up over the box. You can see Caitlin Sanders in the pink pants, keeping it at her waist, almost keeping that ball centered over the top of that box. She actually rotates with it. Might feel a little bit better for her, but also going to put a little bit more tension on the lower back, the other half of that midline for her. Other athletes choosing to get it up to the shoulder.
Sanders is done and is making her way back to the ring. As they shout out to our friends at CBD MD. Visit CEMD/CrossFit and use the code CrossFit for 30% off your order. And Sanders alone on the rig, yet to start. So she takes time to chalk. Will actually bring Herlin to her left. Able to hop up just ahead of her.
You saw it. Caitlin taking an extra breath there. One thing about holding that D-ball in the front position, it's really hard to breathe. It is actually obstructing your chest cavity a little bit. Makes it very, very difficult to breathe. Also, more stress on your